Yo, what is up, guys? It's Jake, and we are here playing Critter Quest. This is a hack that I made. I haven't uploaded in a while. There's two reasons for that. One, YouTube Shorts app sucks, so I can't make any shorts right now. That's one thing. And the other thing is I just haven't really been playing Kaizo as much. I was playing some shoot 'em ups. And I've kind of even taken a break from shoot 'em ups, so I've been kind of chilling. I've been trying to play some more modern games on the side. And I just really haven't been playing too much Kaizo lately, so I figured it'd be cool to play through my own creations, because I don't think I've really played through these formally. I've uploaded, videos of like just going through it, edited videos. I did speedrun Critter Quest too, but I kind of want to make a video just going through my own creations: Critter Quest, Critter Quest Junior, and Critter Island. So yeah, I haven't played this game in a bit. 10 exits, short hack, and we'll just go right into it. And just for context, this is my first attempt at level creation, like really ever. I've made like 2 or 3 Mario Maker hacks, like literally like over a decade ago, and they were just like garbage. It was just like me trying to make something based on like standard experience. But this was like the first hack that I made, or the first like any sense of level creation after playing Kaizo and understanding Kaizo. So like so yeah, like in hindsight, I feel like I did a pretty decent job with how all this kind of came out. I had a lot of passion going into it, like a lot, like the overworld and stuff. Like I tried to pay a lot of attention to detail when making this hack. But yeah, I just hope people enjoy this hack. Like I don't think it's the greatest thing ever, personally in hindsight. But I wanted it to be cute and fun. I think it did come out harder than I wanted it to, You'll notice that with a lot of first hacks that people make, especially for me because I've been doing playtesting. They come out harder than like people anticipate, and they're like, oh shoot, I didn't mean for it to be that hard. And usually that's because people, when they make something, like you really don't understand this until you create a Kaizo level, and you'll be like, oh shoot, like this is hard, And other people play it, it's like, yeah, like what you made is a lot harder than you thought it was. Like, you'll notice that if you ever play test a hack and it's labeled as like advanced, and it's like somebody's first hack, expect expert. If somebody labels it intermediate, expect advanced. You know what I mean? Like bump it up expect the difficulty above. And that's kind of what happened with this hack as well. Like I was kind of aiming for this to be, around Akogare's level of difficulty, and I think I did. Like I think I was able to hit that mark. But I can see why people might think this is a beginner hack. It's kind of cute. It's kind of whatever. We got this Barman 64, the second attack music, Palmy, Steam. You got, it's a cute hack, so it's like, it's probably like, oh, it's approachable. So, that's kind of why I made the junior version eventually, because I felt bad that people would approach this thinking it's like a pure beginner hack, because it's labeled advanced, right? So I released this when they did the difficulty changes, right? Or like the categories. And I think this is like Kaizo moderate, Kaizo intermediate, like whatever, right? Because before it was beginner, intermediate, expert. So I was going to submit this as an intermediate. This was not supposed to be a beginner hack by any means. So whenever the new categories came out, advanced, from what I understood, contained upper beginner from the last category and lower intermediate. You can kind of see that how Quickie World 1 is advanced and Akogare 1 is also advanced, right? That's kind of how I understand it. So when I submitted this, I was expecting, advanced in regards to lower intermediate. So I don't know. Advanced in itself is kind of a weird category because it has beginner hacks, quote unquote, and non-beginner hacks. So I just wish there was like a I don't know, some kind of different differentiation to be like, hey, this is beginner friendly, like tag it or something, you know? I don't know. This is not beginner friendly. I think in hindsight, I wasn't designing this to be beginner friendly, and I don't think Critter Quest is beginner friendly. I think I expect the player to know there's not a lot of Kaizo tricks, but there's a lot of regrabbing, and there's one chuck gate, you know, which you kind of have to know right? You have to know how Kaizo works to do a chuck gate. Like, I don't tell you how to do a chuck gate in this game, basically. Critter Quest Junior, I tell you how to swim. Like, I expect you to know nothing in Junior. And yeah, I guess on the positive side, you know, I've had people tell me like this helped them develop their skills, which I think is, I mean, that's great. You know, if anything, people might have approached this as a beginner hack, and then like, you know, kind of pushes them more than they wanted to, maybe. You know, I don't know. I think this could definitely help you with regrabs, because you have to know how to regrab in this hack, because this is a lot of regrabs. That was kind of a lot of regrabs and a lot of jump state changes was kind of my focus. And yeah, I kind of wrote this message because I like to say a lot of weird stuff, so I just kind of threw it in there. So I guess I'll read it out. Sup, playa? What does it mean to be a critter? I don't know. All I know is my bump is bumping for some jumpy. Yeah. Critter crib. Also, I love the little graphic right here. Critter crib. Learning some graphic manipulation, graphic modification. So let's play the level. Let's play the game. This is planting a seed. Each of these levels are named after different like songs and albums that I like to listen to. You know, if you look at like other things I've uploaded on my channel, I like to go to shows. I like, you know, more like the hardcore genre of post-hardcore genre of music. So like a genre that not everybody's into. And I love that genre of music, so a lot of the names of these levels were inspired by names of songs and albums or whatever. So for this hack, Critter Quest, I wanted to kind of change it up a bit. So Critter Quest Junior, I don't even change it, but for this one, this is called To Plant a Seed in Critter Quest Junior. And here I just call it planting a seed. I do the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure thing where they call, you know, Killer Queen Deadly Queen and like weird stuff like that. So that was kind of the basis for the naming convention. So none of these, I think there's like one name that's actually, I think Truth About Heaven. That's a song that I didn't change. And I think that stayed the same as well in Junior. So everything else is like a little bit different. So anyways, planting a seed, first level of the game. And you'll notice, yeah, a lot of regrabs. I have a lot of indicators. Oops. And yeah, none of these levels have checkpoints. I think I just finished playing Masterpiece, and what's kind of funny is when I first made this level, so those like 3 blocks that the pokies are on, those are initially floating munchers, because I was just really into playing Masterpiece, and I was like, oh man, floating munchers look cool, and I was like, I think one of my playtesters was like, bro, like really? I was just like, yeah, I should change it. Yeah, that's the first level. Yeah, that's the first level I've ever made in Lunar Magic. I was just kind of messing around, and some of these connected, so it's simple, nothing crazy. Second level is Bump Jump. This is a play on this song Pounce Bounce, and I forgot what I'm doing. So this is an interesting section. I think this is actually probably one of the hardest levels in the game, which is kind of funny. Oops. And I noticed a lot of people had trouble with this part, and I think the reason is that's just a weird move to begin with, but also I play Claw. And I noticed people who don't play Claw had a lot of trouble with this. Like, let me try doing this like standard. Like, if you have your thumb, Yeah, this is kind of hard if you're doing like standard. Just like a weird set of movement. That's kind of funny. Yeah, that feels... I mean, okay, I don't play normal. But that just feels really uncomfortable. I'm gonna go back to claw. Yeah, claw feels good. I am a claw player. I like the separation of fingers between the shell and the run button and the jump button. Yeah, this bit's a bit tight right there. A lot of re-grabbing just to get past that. I love this song, by the way. This is also from Bomberman 64, the second attack. It's actually the rarest game that I own. I have it complete in box, and if you look on eBay, it goes for a lot. That is the rarest game that I own. I love playing. I actually played it when I was a kid on the N64. I still have my copy, and it's awesome. Eternal Sapphire. This is called Eternal Blue in Junior. Good album. Yeah, I forgot these levels are kind of short. A bit shorter than I remember. Okay. Like, that section is really unique. Okay, what's interesting about that last section there is when I saw people play through this hack, they looked at it and they're like, what the heck am I looking at? Like, what is that? But at the same time, they were usually able to figure it out. Like, I think everyone I've seen play it was able to figure it out, which is really cool. I think I nailed that when it's like, I don't know. I love that feeling of like, what do you do, but you don't take forever to figure it out. You know what I mean? I think I got really lucky with that design. Ooh, that's a double. Okay. Ooh. That section's a little tight. That section's a little tight. Alright, cool. Yeah, I would say this is... I mean, maybe because I'm just... like, I created this, so I kind of remember most of it. I feel like this is a little bit... This is like somewhere between Quickie 1 and Akogare, maybe. We Ghosts, which is us ghosts in Quickie, or not Quickie, in Junior. There's the Kaizo. Imagine if there was a Kaizo block there, that'd be annoying. This hack only does have one Kaizo block. That is that is the one Kaizo block. I don't want to troll people too hard. Eee. Okay. Nice. And there's actually no way to get that moon. I put it there to kind of like as aesthetic with the clouds. I like the little moon face, but there's actually no way to get that moon. So in Junior, I took it out so nobody would get confused. Alright. People had a lot of trouble with this guy. I can understand why. That part I updated a little bit in Junior. In hindsight, that jittering bit's kind of awkward on the eyes. Islands and Glaciers. Yeah, that's called Isles and Glaciers in Junior. Truth About Heaven. This one is actually the same name in Junior. Eee. Oh, I like this part. This is one, that little jump right there. I really like that jump. That was one of my favorite parts that worked when I was making this. I thought that was a really cool setup. I remember when I did that, you know, and I created it, and I was just like, whoa, like that actually worked. That's crazy. To the Critter's Dream. Get the Mega Man Battle Network music. It's a good song. And yeah, I should probably comment too. Like a lot of the aesthetic is like vanilla. Like really just the music's updated. But even like the background of the levels is all vanilla. I think I've only altered one background, and that's in the final bonus level of Junior. So, if I ever make another Mario hack, which maybe someday, I've been kind of working on Yoshi stuff, but if I switch back to Mario, which I mean maybe at some point, yeah, for sure. I'll have to, you know, edit more things, get more comfortable with, you know, what's possible in Lunar Magic. Because yeah, I never really I don't really feel super comfortable with Lunar Magic, you know. I don't really know exactly the background stuff. So even here, you can just tell the background's like vanilla. Yeah, vanilla background. Like I'd probably mess around with that a bit more and try to make it more, more custom and stuff. Okay. So this is the hardest level in the game. I think I could say, when people got here, they were like, what the heck, dude? This is what, tracking back routes? This is called tracing back routes in Junior. A lot different in Junior. I had to redesign this whole level in Junior. But, okay. Yeah, this is the hardest level. It's probably one of the shorter levels too, honestly, like in actual completion time, but yeah, this is a difficult one. It's just very tight. Regrab there. Oh, what? And this level too, so that like momentum jump. Masterpiece has a lot of momentum jumps, I want to say, and at least I felt like it did. So a lot of jumps here. Well, that was only like 2 jumps, but I had momentum jumps on the mind where you kind of get like a little bit of momentum and then go like that. Yeah, I like that jump. I like the momentum jumps. I think they're cool. But this is like regrab city. It's like regrab, regrab, regrab. Yeah, there you go. So that move too, that triple regrab, I noticed as well. I think people struggled on it if they weren't playing Claw. So yeah, I think it helps to play Claw there a little bit. Flossy Dicky Jump. This is Flossie Dicky Bounce in Junior. What? Okay. And yeah, I think overall, I can't remember how long it took me to make this hack. I made it really fast, you know, it's only 10 levels, so I think it took me like a month. I was just really eager to get something out. I just wanted to make something. You know, I was just like excited to make something. I was excited to make something and release it, and I felt like this came out pretty cool. At the very least, like that, like that little bit there. I think this hack has, you know, a handful of unique things, which I think is pretty cool. Alright, final level, the Rain exhibit, which is the Rain Museum in Junior. Alright, a little tight jump there. This is a little blind. I didn't really think about that until afterwards, but I'm like, the idea they gotta keep up the momentum there, I think it's a little blind. Might have been a better way to, like, indicate that, but I don't know. Maybe add another arrow there. I don't know. Ooh. Regrab, okay. You could actually cheese that as well. I didn't realize that was a thing. But if you have enough momentum, ooh, wow. You have enough momentum, you can actually cheese grabbing that key. See, then I put left right there to be like, alright, don't neutral anymore. But it's kind of a weird indicator, honestly. It's also really hard to do. I guess it's possible, but yeah, it's really hard to actually grab the key. So that saw there, I left that there. I didn't want to leave it there to be a jerk, but I think I had it there as a placeholder, like as I was making the level, and I realized when all these other sprites are over here with like the whatever, like the saw wasn't spawning, but once the sprites, you know, lessen and you go over here and you use the key and all that, the saw does spawn. And I was planning to get rid of the saw because I don't like trolls. I don't like a lot of trolls, but I decided to leave it in because I was like, that was like too perfect, you know. It was too perfect to not have the saw there and then to have it appear because there's less sprites on screen. So I was like, all right, I'll leave that in. Funny troll. It's also it's kind of a disrespectful troll as well, but it's just like after everything, it just shows up at the end. Yeah, this is the boss of the game. I wasn't gonna put a boss in the game, but I was like, you know, I probably should have a boss. Eesh. Okay. Yeah, these Eries are completely random. There we go, GG. That's the end of the game. Wee-hee. There's the Yoshi that we'll see in Critter Quest 2. That's canonically the same Yoshi. Well, you defeated the nightmare lurking in the darkness. Now all critters can continue to pursue their dreams. This is Critter Compassion. That is the end of Critter Quests. Credits. GG play, you did it, you completed the critter quest and learned what it truly means to be a critter. Celebrate this achievement, I found you a song to always remember this moment. And KK Bubblegum. And yeah, here are the credits. No, I want the shell. Oh. Playtesters, dude, what is going on? Got my alarm going off in the back. Jeez. Yeah, everything's fine. There's not a bomb in my house or anything crazy. Special thanks. Yeah, my special thanks list was just kind of just regarding people that helped me get into Kaizo and some beginner hacks and stuff. And of course, to Alex for showing me critter compassion. I love that ending. Cool. So that is the end of Critter Quest, and we're gonna go on ahead and jump into Critter Quest Junior, which is going to be an easier version of this. So let me switch on over to that. Alright, we are back with a Junior. Okay, cool, we already have an empty file. Let's just get into it. So this is the same game, but easier version. There's enough differences so I feel like it's cool to play. I don't change the crib, but you can see the names are now different. We have to plant a seed. This says yellow coins mean standard jumps, blue coins mean spin jumps. Coins throughout the game are numbered to indicate order. So this here, you see there's no regrabs, you get this whole jump. You get this whole jump. These things are generally easier, and I've added midways as well. So very approachable, very approachable hack. My intention for this was because none of my friends play Kaizo, so I wanted to make something that I can hand them and be like, hey, if you don't play Kaizo, like, no worries, like, I got something for you, like, play this. And what's kind of funny is, difficulty-wise, this was rated at Advanced as well. I submitted it at Intermediate, but I can understand the Advanced tag, because it has some extra levels that are a little bit harder, a little bit more spicier. But I don't think they really get to the same difficulty as Critter Quest Vanilla. So it's like a easier advance, you know, and easier on the advanced side, I guess. I don't know. But most of these levels is, you know, they're already short enough, so having a midway, I think, makes them pretty approachable, which is cool. Also, some differences between this and the original is I touch up the overworld a little bit. You know, I could always submit an update for Critter Quest Vanilla with the updated overworld, but I don't really feel like it's worth it. You know, just for some color palettes, but this looks a bit cleaner. I cleaned it up a bit. Some things look better. The path looks better. Like I wanted to make this like a bit more better. Almost kind of like the definitive vision of Critter Quest is what I felt like with Junior, which is why I wanted to play this one as well. Second level, Pounce Bounce. So this is a little different. A lot more speaker boxes too. So I don't like to put a lot of text and have people read, but I wanted to set this up as a first hack like that anybody could play. Be like, here you go. Which is actually how I tested this. So one of the playtesters is a close friend of mine, and they've never finished a Mario game, period. So, but they were very interested in what I was working on, and just making these things, making these hacks. So I wanted to make something that anybody could play, and that's kind of the intention of Critter Quest Junior, to make something that anybody can play. Like, you don't need to know any Kaizo knowledge, you don't need to know chuck gates, you don't need to know anything, but it kind of has the same flavor, as you can see, but a little bit easier. And I try to make it look cool as well. That's kind of inspired by the whole like Easyland trilogy, where it's like you're doing cool stuff and it looks cool, but it's like not hard to execute, you know? I really like that. Okay. Midway there, so if you see, we die. Midway right there. So yeah, each of these levels have midways, which is pretty cool. Change this up a little bit. And you kind of take your time, and then if you get stuck, you can kill your, you know, and you get a redo with the munchers. I don't want to say anything bad. You can yeah, you can touch the muncher and get a retry. I'll say that. Next level, Eternal Blue. Alright, speaker box here. This tells you how to swim. Hold up or down on the D-pad to swim further up or less upward, respectively. You also need to hold up to jump or spin jump out of water. Like I said, if someone's never played Mario World, I just kind of want to let them know. It's like, it's a little thing. Maybe it's like, if you play, you know, if you're in Kaizo and you're playing these hacks, 99 out of 100 players are going to be like, yeah, why do you have to tell me how to jump out of the water? But, you know, I think it's useful, you know, especially if, like, if someone's never played Kaizo. Like, that was, like I said, that was kind of my intention with this. So that's kind of the same obstacle, but those aren't death blocks, so you can hold jump, you don't have to re-grab. Little things like that. I'm like, I think it would make this, you know, just a little bit more enjoyable, less tight, you know. I wanted this game to be very chill. Like, if you've played Kaizo, you're like above beginner level, this should be a nice, chill, fun playthrough. That was kind of my approach with this game. Next level, shown the ropes. Yeah, this level design's a bit different as well. Like, some things I just completely redesigned. On levels that are red typically have more than one exit. Seek the secret exit. Hint, what is up, dog? Shout out to Kid Boga. I was thinking of what is up, dog in my head when I was thinking that. I was also kind of thinking, because I just played, what's that game called? 999, whatever. That one, like, game that's on the DS. Seek the exit. So I kind of threw that in there too. That was in my head. That was kind of like unconsciously there. So yeah, that's secret exit. Very simple. And I kind of threw this. I threw this pretty early in the hack. I didn't want to put a star road at the end. Because like if you've played Critter Quest, and it's like I just want to see the extra levels. You know, well, here you go. They're just right here. You don't got to go to the end of the game. You know, if you really don't want to play the same levels remixed in an easier fashion, you could just go here. You know, that was kind of my intention with that. You know, let's just go ahead and do these new levels. I think these new levels came out pretty cool. This is a whole new area. You know, just 3 new levels. This is Deliver Me. I'm listening to a decent amount of Parkway Drive. These next levels are harder. These next harder levels are all optional with no extra reward at the end. Just play them to have fun if you want. We cool. So yeah, I was just like, you know, there's no Switch Palace, there's no nothing. If you don't want to play these weird levels, it's fine. These are a bit kind of like weird. Like this level design, you know. This level design is very unique. I've never really seen this in any other hack. So yeah, a little technical. Going through pipes will change your jump state from spin to normal. So we'll do that here. 1, 2, 3. Change to standard jump. So one thing I realized in hindsight, I put the coins down there. I'd probably want to put the coins up here because you kind of want to go up and then down, you know. But when the coins are down there, you might instinctively go here, and then that's not going to work. But again, I don't know if I'd like make a whole update just for some coin placement. It'd be nice, but I think I need to do more than just, hey, I moved a couple coins, right? That'd be kind of silly for a version update. So that's the first DLC level, bonus level. Smashed into pieces. So this one, green coins here indicate throw blocks that can be spin jumped on. Grabbing a vine forces a standard jump. I put 2 there to be generous. Oops. So yeah, there's 2 blocks there you can hit. Just because it felt a little weird trying to hit 1. Jeez. Yeah, this first section is not too bad. I think the second section is probably like gonna push the difficulty up a bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. This section I think is a little harder. And then you have a sideways sky tree there. Yeah, you gotta be a little quick there. So that's short, but I think it is pretty tight. It is pretty hard, I would say. Again, these levels are intended to kind of push. I should have said that. These levels are kind of intended to push beginner players. So even though this hack is made for absolute beginners, I wanted to make some levels that would push the player, a little bit more if they wanted to, right? So that's that. That kind of introduces players to the whole sky tree idea and like kind of going fast. And I think that's good because going fast a lot of times in Kaizo actually will make things easier, right? If you go fast, you can get attempts in faster, you'll learn faster, and you'll first cycle things and recognize patterns faster. So that was kind of the intention of that level, was to kind of teach the idea of go fast, right? If you go fast, things are generally going to be easier in Kaizo. Like, just go, pretty much. And then this level, I really, really like this level. Edge of the Earth. And I like, too, how it's, like, on the overworld. It's on the edge of the overworld, so I like this level. This is my favorite. Might even be my favorite Mario level that I made. I really like this level. And it so happens to be a cape level. This is a cape level. P's on the ground will give you instant P speed for flight, X and Y for green coins to spin. See a yellow coin, do a standard jumps and hold forward to slam the ground and bounce shells upward. Then fly for blue coins. So cape is intimidating. Okay, just like everybody else, I started on Learn to Fly, or Learn to Kaizo. No, yeah, Learn to Kaizo. Well, did everybody start? No, some people started with 2 Kaizos, but anyway, I started with Learn to Kaizo and was very intimidated by Cape. And I remember like the final test being like a nightmare. So this level has no pumping. There's no like traditional Cape stuff. So if you see the yellow coin, literally all you're doing is holding forward, like I'm holding forward, jump, hold jump, and that's it. I don't even think you need a hold jump. You can just hold forward, press jump, slam. Slam, sprites like shells will bounce up and hit things. So that's that. Everything else in this level, I try to get the easiest cape tech that I could. You know, this is just spinning. Spinning and moving. And the P's there will give you instant flight. So you don't have to build up your P meter to get flight like you usually do. Yeah, see, a very short section. I wanted to make, my idea for this was to make the easiest cape level that I could possibly make. I understand cape's really hard. I enjoy cape, but I also understand it's very hard. Like I played through learning to fly till I finally felt like pretty comfortable with cape. I changed his jump state. See, and those P's on the ground they give you instant P speed, and they allow you to hover like that instantly. And as you can see here, so when you go here, the camera moves forward so you can kind of see what you're looking at. I realized that, because this is a flux-based ROM, I realized that those are in flux. And I think I was even watching and playing a little bit of Dram 3 at the time, and I was like, you know what, like I'm going to get some inspiration from Dram 3 and make use of those camera scrolls. So that was kind of the intention of that. And this, you know, it's scary, but you really just hold forward and jump, and you're good. So this level looks scary. It's a cape level, you know, oh my god, dude, but really the input execution is pretty straightforward. That was kind of my intention for this. Like that level, I wanted the player to feel awesome and be like, I did a cape level, but also make it approachable, right? There's no pumping, there's no like slowing down in midair, like none of that, you know, most of it's spin fly. If you see a yellow coin, you're gonna jump and slam. And I think it came out pretty good. I really, really like that level. I like the song I used from that, I believe it was a composer song. And that was the one, let me check it out again actually. That was the only level I changed the background for. If we go back, I think it's like just stars, right? This was like initially like a castle background. Yeah, I just made stars. So I really like the background on that, you know. Kind of to match the stars and the edge of the earth. Like, I don't know. I think that came out cool. That's my favorite Mario level that I've made. Then we'll go back to the main path. Checkpoint. Oh wow. Oh wow. Alright, not too bad. Us ghosts. Yeah, and a lot of the temporary blocks I put, I made I made permanent, I think, so players can kind of breathe there for a bit. Also, I left the Kaizo block there. I left it there because the checkpoint's right there. It's like, if you get Kaizo, that's the most like generous Kaizo block, right? You're right back there. And again, that's the only Kaizo block in the hack again. And yeah, you can see these sections are changed up a little bit. Added that bit with the boo ring at the beginning. So I kind of made this level a little bit longer. Made it a little bit longer to make the checkpoint make sense. And as you can see, the moon's no longer there anymore. I got rid of that moon. Isles and glaciers. Oops. This is probably one of the most challenging levels in the game. Specifically for the flying hammer bro section. Oops. yeah, this is pretty much the same as it was. I think I actually left this unaltered. This is pretty much the same. I got rid of some like munchers, but that's pretty much the same as the original Critter Quest. I probably could have made it easier. Like I probably could have removed a layer of the yellow blocks, but I decided to keep it the same. That is a little bit more generous. I made the end goal closer a little bit there, so you didn't have to stretch out the iframes as much. So, not as tight. Next level, Truth About Heaven. Same name as the original game. Here we just have 2 bullet bills instead of 3. 3 bullet bills are a little bit awkward to bounce on, so I kind of want to just make it 2. I think I extended this a little bit. Yeah, this is extended a little bit. Made that a little bit easier. And then there I got rid of the bullet bill. I really like the bullet bill, but I was like, I don't want to make beginners do weird, you know, jumps. I really debated on leaving it in, but I was like, nah, maybe I should just keep that in the vanilla Critter Quest. That's like one of my favorite little bits that I was like, man, I don't know if I want to leave it in or not, because it was just one of my favorite bits. And then going on to this area, tracing back routes. This is completely different. Except for this. Except for the very beginning. This is like mostly completely different. Like this is a little bit similar. This is kind of similar. This is all similar. Here you don't have to re-grab. This bit is what's different. It says, caution, stepping on P-switches will force you into a standard jump state, losing your spin jump. So as you can see, I have little red coins to indicate like don't step on it. And this one I have the yellow coin to indicate step on it. You want to go to standard. And yeah, this section is completely different. There's no re-grabbing, you can just hold jump. Again, there's no required re-grabs in this hack. There you go. But it still feels cool to do. That was kind of my intention, was like, make it feel cool to do while making it easier to do. I like that idea. You know? Like, I don't think difficulty equates to fun, per se, you know? And typically, typically as well, I mean, there are, you want to play a hard Kaizo hack, they're there. There's Grand Pool World, there's Invictus, there's Dram, you know, like, there's the known hacks that everybody plays and struggles with, you know? It's like if you're in school, like there's operating systems, there's the core classes that everybody takes, right? You know, I don't want to be over here trying to invent operating systems part 2, right? I don't want to make, hey, here's another hard hack. So my idea with Critter Quest and any future Mario hacks I might make is like, make them approachable, make them fun, you know? Try to make them look cool, use some tech and like setups that are creative and no one's really seen. I like to do that. It's a little bit hard to do because there's a lot of different things. I like this setup. I really like this setup. You hit that, camera moves, and then the shells go, and then you get a checkpoint. I kind of have it wrap around here so it fixes the camera. This section is completely new, but I think it's pretty cool. It's very unique. Like a very interesting, almost like standard section. I didn't really notice till after I finished, but it looks like it could kind of jump up there. I probably should have had to stretch up a bit. I didn't realize that. Ugh, looks a little weird. And then yeah, I got rid of that shell bit at the end because I didn't want people losing their minds, you know. So that's more straightforward, and that's still kind of hard to do if you're a beginner. It could still be precise, right? still be challenging. So yeah, cool level. Little different, like almost like, just like I said, almost like a standard Kaizo level, not pure Kaizo in a way. Last level, the Rain Museum. Starts off very similar. This is a bit more open there. I think this is the same. That's more open, more forgiving. There's no more momentum, like blind momentum speed there. Just that. Get the checkpoint. Yee. We're in the spin. I like this part. I like how this came out. I still really like the idea of like changing between spin and standard jump. Oops. If I were to make a new, like another Mario hack in the future, I might even want to go for that approach again, you know? But definitely try to be more creative with it. Like add more elements of switching. One of the enemies I didn't even use at all was like Dry Bones, and Dry Bones is really cool. That boss, by the way, is like kind of unique. Like I don't know. I was trying really hard to make a unique boss that was based around spin jumps and standard jumps. I was just trying really hard to figure that out. Same ending though. We heal. Same credits. Same exact credits actually, except for some new playtesters with the junior version. Well, if you the nightmare looking in the darkness, all critters can continue to pursue their dreams. This is Critter Compassion. As we're going to see that Yoshi in that little egg is going to hatch, and we are going to go to Critter Island. That's going to be cool. Let's just check out the credits. We could check out, like I said, it's all the same. I'll just quickly show the playtesters. So I think that's the only thing that's updated. I actually updated these blocks, so they're not twist blocks anymore, but I think that's it. Yeah, everything should be the same. Music. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the... Here we go, yeah. New playtesters. A lot more playtesters. So I have the OG and original Critter Quest. Yep. And everything else is the same after that. Yeah, that's the end of Critter Quest Junior. Let's go to my last game, which is Critter Island, a Yoshi's Island hack. Alright. Critter Quest 2. Let's make a new file. So yeah, this is Critter Quest 2. Completely different environment. We're no longer in Mario World. We are in Yoshi's Island. This is just the standard patch, hasty with the intro, just to show the tutorial level. After Critter Island was saved from the nightmare, the Yoshis decided to pursue their dreams and discover a world where Kaizo Yoshi's Island was a reality, a true dream come true. We heal. We heal. There we go. Welcome to Critter Island. Jumps and eggs flutter off enemies for extra height holding B. Can also be preserved if you delay holding B. So, see, eggs can be aimed and fired. A. The next two tips are more advanced, but you may press start and select to skip the tutorial. We'll do the tutorial, you know, why not? This teaches about flutter boost, how you can, like, delay it like that and go around. So unlike, you know, Critter Quest 1, well, let's check this out. Stretch check. Stretch guys can be used as super bounce with A and B together. They can also be eaten and jumped off of with Y and B together. Stretch jump there. Oop. What was I gonna say? Yeah, unlike Critter Quest 1, this is probably gonna be significantly harder. Or no, it definitely is significantly harder. Like Critter Quest 1 was designed at more upper advanced level. Critter Quest Junior was, aside from the bonus levels, is honestly, you know, intermediate, right? And then like easy, beginner, very beginner. This is expert. I don't know if I'd say master. If master, it's very low master. But this is all tech that probably 1 out of like 1,000 people know how to do. Like this is very like interesting, strange tech, right? I don't expect people to know how to do this. Which is why I have this tutorial here. Bubble jumps. Fly up pressing Y. By pressing Y while jumping and holding up. Bubbles can also be bounced on while fluttering in midair. Yeah, bubble tech. Bubble tech's really cool. We're just gonna jump into the first level. Level 1, it's Kaizo YI. Shout out to the Halo 3 names back then. Oh, you know what, let me do this. I'm doing my speedrun strats. Let me like do this normally. So this is the first level. This is the first Kaizo level I made in Yoshi. Yeah. So that's like the intended approach, but the approach where you kind of like re-grab off the flower guy and do that, that was something I saw one of the playtesters do, and I thought that was really cool. Like this, yeah. I thought that was really cool, so like, I didn't really want to get rid of it. If anything, I think it's cool as an option. So this level kind of has like multiple approaches to it. You know, depending on how you want to do it. You can kind of do the same thing here, where you kind of re-grab off the mufti guy, the flower guy. But here, I'll do what's intended. Do that, get him, spit him. But you can also do that jump where you kind of preserve the flutter boost. Here we get the introduction of the bubble. It's 1, 2. A little tricky there. Throw the egg up. There we go. Cool. That's the first level. That is the first Kaizo Yoshi level I've ever made. Not that I made a lot, but that's the first one I've made. I remember when I got that ending to work, I was like, this is so cool. Like, the ending is really cool, I think. In my opinion, I think it's cool to get that piranha plant out and then bubble on up. Next level. Level 2. Bullet bouncing. I like the intro to this. So the way I designed this was classic Kaizo, you know, diets at the start. Get this bullet coming in. If you jump over it, you'll be like, what? The bullet just bounced on the flippers there. So initially those flippers weren't there, but I realized it was kind of confusing what to do. So the flippers are there. It serves as two reasons. First, it like trolls you because it bounces back at you, but it also shows the player that it's possible for bullets to bounce off of flippers. So I really like the idea of using that. The other thing is Yoshi's holding keys, so he's not able to hold eggs whenever he has 6 keys. So that's the tech with that. Kind of preserve the bullet to bounce on it later. So a bit weird movement there. Here I have the coins 1, 2, so you spit the bullet and then you grab the melons because you're gonna need it. Follow the coin trail. Yoshi's faster than the bullet. Oops. I think that was too high. But yeah, I really love the way this hat came out. Heavily inspired by Flutter and Things 2, Booney's Island. Those hackers kind of made me realize like what's possible in Yoshi's Island. And thanks to Blue Leaf's base ROMs, I opened up Golden Egg at all. To be honest, like if I didn't have, Blue Leaf didn't have those base ROMs, I probably wouldn't have even opened up Golden Egg. But because they were there, I'm like, I kind of have to open up Golden Egg. I'm like I had to see what we could do, right? That was kind of that was kind of what was up with that. So I'm very thankful that he made those base ROMs. But yeah, this is not beginner friendly at all. If you want to get into Kaizo Yoshi and play the one hack that exists, this is not the hack to start with. I mean, you could, but I think Booney's Island is the better hack to start with, for sure. More approachable. And then this one's like, this one has a tutorial at the beginning, but it's still, this one's definitely hard. Yeah, this hack's pretty hard. Next level. Maybe go hasty. So this is a part where it's like, okay, yeah, so for the beginning of this level, this is a tech that I didn't know, this isn't anything that I picked up anywhere. Like the bullet bouncing, I definitely got from Flutter. The bubble tech I got from Flutter. This, I was trying to make an egg level, speedrun level kind of thing, and I was like, what can I do? There's gotta be some kind of tech. So I realized these baseball dudes, oops, you can have them bounce the egg back at you, and it gives you like a egg flutter boost jump. So I introduced that. It's like the new, the modern day shell jump, I guess. So yeah, this is like a speedrun level, pretty much. It's kind of tight, honestly, with how you gotta do it, but yeah, it's like pretty tight. But I think it's short enough to where it's like, alright. That bit there is hard, because you... like, that jump's hard enough to do as it is. Like, I've had to practice that a lot. Even when I was making this level, like, getting that timing down, it took a bit of practice. And I'm able to do it pretty consistently now. It is kind of... it's kind of a jerk move to be like, alright, do it one more time in midair, but you know what? It's like, if you start off this level doing that over and over again, I'm like... I don't think it's unfair to ask you to do it one more time at the end, It's kind of cool, it's kind of funny. It's a little mean, but it'll kind of cement the idea, like, yeah, you can do that cool tech now, I guess, Next level. Level 4, Bumpty Dumper Fort. Again, this starts off with killing Yoshi at the beginning. Really like hearing this track in Yoshi. One reason why, I think I should address this, but one reason why this hack was pretty short is because the music, the custom music replaces the existing music. So you can't, you can only have so much custom music. Plus, there isn't a lot of custom music to begin with in Yoshi. There isn't a lot of custom music to begin with in Yoshi, so I was like, alright, I don't want to have, like, the same custom tracks playing over and over again. That's a little shortcut, by the way. Just a little speedrun trick. If you stand up there long enough, the cork will shoot up and troll you there. Which is pretty funny. Which is funny. Oops. level's pretty long. I think this is definitely the biggest level, and probably even the hardest level to make over. It's just a big level, and this is pretty much like the Sen's Fortress level of the game in Dark Souls terms. You know, I have a lot of weird trolls where it's like if you stay there, it hits you in the ceiling and you hit spikes. Eee. But yeah, because of limited music, I wanted to keep the hack generally short, and I was like, you know what? If I want to use any other custom music in the future, I'll just throw it in a new hack, so I don't have to worry about that limited music space. Because, yeah, in Mario World, when you added new music, it's like an additive process, and it just adds it to the game, I think. And Yoshi, the way it does it, it's more, it replaces the existing music in memory. So it's definitely more limited. Oh wow, what? So, okay, I'm surprised I didn't get my head stuck like this, but so normally this is a troll. If you don't jump, you get stuck there, and then they'll shoot water at you if you don't move fast enough. And I'm sure people who ever played this probably wondered what's up with this like spongy thing at the top. Before, if you jumped and you phased through that ceiling there, you can actually clip through like the ceiling and get out of bounds pretty much. So I noticed if you had this, it would kind of catch Yoshi and he would get stuck. So the cork doesn't push you outside the level. So that's why this is here. It probably looks weird, but that was my solution. That was my solution for that problem. Got some bumpties there at the end. Got some bumpties. Alright, next level is the shell level. Level 5. Look, Dad, I'm shelling. I don't know why I called it that. Okay. This is a hard level. This was one of the levels I feel like people had difficulty with. And it is a pretty hard level. That's not good. Oh, I almost saved that. The ending there is pretty cool. It used to be different, but it was like a little bit inconsistent to pull off, I felt, so I made it more consistent while also making it look cooler, I think. But before, it was just like you spit a shell up in the corner and you bounce off it in midair, and I was kind of like, I just didn't like the way it felt. I thought it was cool, but I like the way this is more. Spit the shell, freeze it, go. Done. And that's the shell level. Next up is the Ultra Star level. Platforms. Level 6 Ultra Star Explosion. Oops. So yeah, just fast-paced level. Which, the downside of a fast level like this is that some bits are going to be kind of blind and like trial and error. So it's because of that, it's just kind of on the shorter side. But I kind of just wanted some like fast-paced momentum platforming. So yeah, a little bit on the shorter side, but I thought it was cool. Honestly, it's, in my opinion, I think this felt like the weakest level. But I think it's still cool. It's something that I would want to expand on more, or see get expanded on more. Next level is the Shark Chomp level. Path to the Castle. So this one is, I think these last two levels are for sure the hardest levels in the game. But I really like them. Oops. And yeah, there is an issue with getting out of bounds if you did like a forward bubble bounce there. So I had spikes there, which forced like a quick reverse bubble jump. Like that, see? Oh my god, okay. I still can't believe I was able to beat this deathless in my speedrun that I uploaded. I'm very surprised by that, to be honest. Oops. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is a hard level. I think it's cool, but it's hard. And you know, what's kind of funny too is that with Yoshi's Island, is I've never speedran this game. I've always like loved watching speedruns of it. Like when I used to watch like Trihex play this, you know, it's like really cool. It just looked awesome to be speedran, and I think I wanted to capture that in a Kaizo setting if possible. That was kind of like my intention with this game at all. Ooh, wow. But yeah, I am not like a crazy Yoshi player, which is kind of crazy, which is kind of funny. I don't even really like traditional Yoshi, to be honest. I mean, it's okay, but like, I really don't like collecting all the flowers and the red coins and all that. Like, I don't care for all that, man. It's like too much to track for me. But I have 100%ed. Oh wow, I have 100%ed like Yoshi's Island. I've done it a couple times, at least a couple times. I might have done it like 3 times. Wow, what am I doing? This is like the most I've struggled with this level in a while. Yep, not good. Yeah, not a crazy Yoshi player. I've played... The first Yoshi game I think I played was actually Yoshi's Story on the N64. I barely remember it now. I haven't touched it in like... literally like over a decade. Okay, what am I doing? I do have an Analog 3D though. I should probably replay Yoshi's Story maybe. That'd be kind of cool. And then there's a new Yoshi game that just came out, that mystery book, whatever. Has anybody played that one? I wonder if it's worth playing. Dude, I can't do this. I'm struggling in my own hack, man. What's happening? Dude, I keep doing an up input there. I don't want to. Yeah, I'm just sucking at this really bad. The chain chomp is a bit like random. Not random, but it's like you have to kind of have good luck a little bit with the speed. It's kind of rubber bands. Dude, I can't do this. I'm kicking my own butt, man. Wow. Wow. I just want to get out of this level. Can I get out of this level, please? I am actually struggling. Wow, dude. Okay, I think that was like bad rubber banding. Oh, I almost screwed that up. Get me out of that level, man. Some classic Kaizo struggling there. I'll take it. And this level is pretty challenging too. Final level, Critter Castle. And yeah, it's funny. Obviously, this plays insanely different than you know, Critter Quest 1, Critter Quest Junior, or whatever. But yeah, that's just what it is. Very different game. I think this is one of my favorite levels that I've made. I'm very happy with the way this came out. It's really nice if you mess up there, the green bullet can help you back up. Okay. But yeah, the idea of this level was to kind of get everything together. The bullet, you know, the fluttering, the whatever. I like this part a lot. This part's cool. Get the platforms in. A little bit of everything. That was kind of the idea of this level. A nice, you know, summation of everything. There we go. GG. That's Critter Quest 2. That is Critter Island. That's the end of that. Man, that the Shark Chomp level destroyed me. Boom. Got the critter faces on the mountains. And the end. That's the end of the game. And thanks and credits. Let's check this out. Let's check out the credits. Did it play? You helped the Yoshis fulfill their dreams and bested the challenges on Critter Island. You're the best, a YI champ, and seriously, thanks so much for playing. Wee him. See the next hymn block for the credits. GG, and here are the awesome people that made this game possible. Kind of funny how the credits are just thrown into a message block, but it works. And yeah, that is the end of the Critter Quest saga. Really fun games. And yeah, I probably mentioned it on some other videos, but kind of working on another Yoshi project in the background. You know, nothing official announced, not officially announcing anything yet. Just because you know, I don't want to have any pressure to be like, hey, when's that Yoshi thing you're working on? But I'm cooking up something. I'll just say that, alright? I'm cooking up something. As a kind of, I don't know, like a spiritual successor. Not a spiritual successor to Critter Island, maybe, but like more to kind of get what Critter Island introduced and just make it more, a little more challenging, a little bit more intense on the player. Can I get those coins? See, that's how you tell. That's how you can tell I don't speedrun this game. I can't do the thing. Can't do it. I just did it and I can't do it now. There you go. There you go. Cool. We're gonna get all these coins because... yeah, okay. But yeah, cooking up something else in Yoshi. I'm not cooking anything yet in Mario. You know, I'm liking these Yoshi like strats and tech. Kind of digging that right now. But I'm cooking up another thing in Yoshi. Then maybe go back to Mario. I would like to, you know, learn some custom ASM. That's kind of like my goal with as a creator. Oops. You know, learn some custom ASM, get more comfortable with that. I think that'd be kind of cool. And there's even a cool Donkey Kong Country editor. I keep thinking it'd be cool to make a Donkey Kong Country hack, you know, at some point. But I'm also not, like, I don't know Donkey Kong Country as well. Like, I've beaten the trilogy. I think I've 100% of them minus the first one. But like, I've never played like a DKC Kaizo hack. So I wouldn't feel comfortable making a Kaizo hack until I've played a few other Kaizo hacks in Donkey Kong Country. But there is a cool editor, and I would kind of want to play around with it. And that's kind of like a stretch goal for me, you know. But I think for sure, I definitely want to get something cooking with. I'm currently cooking something with Yoshi, and I want to finish that up. That's kind of like what I'm currently working on. Nothing's cooking with Mario. Nothing's even cooking with DKC, but you know, at all. Those are just kind of like stretch goals in the future. But the Yoshi stuff, I think I got one more with Yoshi, and I want to see where it goes. Because I think this tech's cool. I feel like, you know, anybody, like, there's so many Mario hacks and Kaizo Mario hacks, you know, no Yoshi things, you know, so I want to cook a little bit more with Yoshi, you know, cook with what I got, you know, I got some leftover ingredients, we're gonna cook them up. So yeah, that's the end of, as I mentioned, that's the end of the Critter Quest, you know, trilogy or whatever. This message box. It's the end of the Critter Quest games. Critter Quest Trio, the Critter Quest Saga, whatever you want to call it. And I appreciate truly for anybody that's played these games, for anybody that's enjoyed these games, for anybody that didn't even like these games. You know, if you gave it the time of day to just try it out, I appreciate that, really. You know, like I've made these games so far just for fun, and I'm happy to see that people enjoy them. You know, like that's awesome to me. I think that's really cool. I know I'm not the greatest creator. I'm not, you know, anybody crazy, but if I can make something and anybody enjoys it, I think that's really cool. So thanks to anybody for playing these games, for watching these games, or whatever. Thanks to anybody who's ever like checked out, you know, my channel, just seeing whatever playthroughs I do, and kind of being on, you know, joining me, getting good at Kaizo at all, you know. Cause yeah, I mean, I started Kaizo like 3 years ago, at all. Let's learn the Kaizo, and yeah, it's been a journey. So thanks everybody for that. So yeah, that's the end of this. I will see you all in the next playthrough, the next project, whatever we do. And I hope you all have a good one and take it easy. So yeah, thanks again, and see you all later.